What's up? Good morning, guys. How we doing? Hope we're all having a good morning here thus far. It's time for us to get to work here on stream. We are in quite the little intraday bear trend today, aren't we? Take a look up top, man. You look at that daily chart, far right. That's just showing the New York session, of course. We have not seen a bar look like that in at least a couple of weeks, so that's good to see. We got a wick up top and quite the fade here. If you look at the 5-minute chart top left of your screen, quite the fade heading into and through the open, which is, I'll take it, man. I like to see that. So let's do it. Good morning, guys. How we doing? Roy, good morning. Vin, how we doing? Derek, Sidonia, Brandon, how we doing, guys? All right, I got a little bit of an update here as far as my scaling approach. We've talked about this before, and I think it's time to maybe pull that trigger. John, good morning. Vanny, what's up, brother? Scott? Marty, Taz, good to see you guys. Chris, how we doing? Yeah, so Derek, that's been a thought. But there's some complications. Eric, Nico, what do you do in the mornings these days? We get up about 4 o'clock. We go train. Then we come home. Eat a second time. Shower up. And I sit down in the mornings and trade pre-market small cap momentum. And then we come here. Okay, so the update here for you guys as far as my scaling approach, and this is something to think about, I think, for all of us. I don't know if you guys remember, we talked about, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago, about how eventually when you get to a certain number of accounts, there is elevated risk, and that is with copy trading, okay? Now, the copy trader could glitch, because you guys remember, I'm using the Affordable Indicators copier plugged into NinjaTrader. I know some of you guys that use platforms with built-in copiers, you don't really have to worry that much, but I think most copiers, there could be issues. With this setup, it has been very good. However, trading, you know, when you start getting into the 20s of accounts, into the 30s, especially, man, 40 plus, you gotta start being careful here, because if one little glitch happens, and I've had this happen before with a different copy trader, you gotta watch your back. You don't want to blow, 30, 40, 45 accounts all at once. So, hold up here. Let me, get this going. Okay. Yeah, wick back, no close. Okay. Okay, so to continue here, my thought is when you start getting into more accounts, 20s, 30s, 40s especially, I mean, man, for sure when you're in the 30s and 40s, but even now, I start thinking, that elevated risk, like if a glitch occurs, it's kind of out of my control, and then you blow all of your accounts, which is a fucking pain in the ass, not only to get it all reset, pass all the evals again, which, is not too big of a deal, I guess, at Apex, but it's a pain in the ass. Let's not pretend it's not. So what I've been thinking about for months is when you start getting into the higher numbers, really, I would like to be able to trade them in groups. Now, the Affordable Indicators copier does not, as far as I know, we've talked about this too, have a preset where I can preset groups and then select them. I have to just manually select the accounts, which is again, a total pain in the ass because then I have to look and keep track of all the numbers that I've already traded on the day. But I think it's necessary to hedge our risk against glitches. And I don't want to put it out there, but copy trader glitches, they've certainly happened, and they happened to me as well. With a different copier, not this one, but still, can't trust things too much. Another reason to do that is it allows us to trade, I think, more aggressively a little bit in each account. Now, that brought up the question for me when I was thinking about this last night. Should I just switch to NQ for all the accounts? Because when I'm trading accounts individually in the afternoon, if I switch to just trading them individually, like I'm done copy trading, it's like, okay, I want to work on this account. I'll trade just the regular NQ if there's room in the account, of course. So that brought up the question, should I just switch to all NQ? Because there's a benefit there. There's less contracts for the copy trader to deal with, which closes the door, I'd say, to... Not closes the door. It decreases the risk of glitches because there's less contracts for it to deal with because you're trading less because you're on NQ. But the issue there is one NQ is kind of big for like newer 50K accounts at Apex, especially if the market's a little more volatile, it's a little big. And I don't want to have to think about it too much. And then it's like, well, okay, but you could trade the NQ in some of the contracts. We could look at the NQ chart and then copy trade to MNQ in, I'm sorry, in the accounts, not contracts, in some of the other accounts. And it's like, okay, well, now that's just a pain. Sometimes there's wicks on MNQ that aren't on NQ. So I think for now, I'm just going to keep trading MNQ and just trade more contracts in the accounts that I need to do so on. But what does that mean for us? That means likely, well, first of all, that means a little bit smaller size per trade because I'm trading maybe a third of the accounts at once. I'm thinking probably 3 groups as I continue to scale, because I don't think you guys know this, but I'm diving into Tradeify here very soon, and I'm making my 4th selection as well, which I want to hear your guys' opinion on this, but I've been thinking about Bullinox. I like the name, and I've heard good things about Bullinox. So what are your guys' opinion on Bullinox? Obviously, Apex and Take Profit are still my absolute top 2 at this point, but we got to scale. Scaling horizontally is the whole goal here, right? So that's what I've been thinking about a lot here about. Now, there is an annoying issue here. When I select a group of maybe, let's say maybe I'm trading 8 accounts in a group, it moves my P&L on the screen because it has to lock the copy trader and then it sucks the P&L up to meet the bottom of the group. I have to figure out how to fix that because that fucks up me being able to show it. So I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Maybe I'll trade just enough to keep it on screen here today and then I'll figure that out tonight, but that's a pain in the ass, man. All right, guys. Randy, how we doing? Gains? Brother, I saw your P&L posted in Discord. Looks good, brother. Looks very, very good. Did you make 280 points on one trade? Did I see that right? Volatility. How do you handle the emotions of a major setback like blowing 30 accounts? I've never blown that many at once. But that's exactly what we're talking about here. That would be kind of a setback, and it would just be obnoxious more than anything and kind of mess with your psychology. Because if we're trading, again, my reason for thinking this way is if we're trading 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, we're gonna have to take more trades to trade all of them. However, at some point, when you're scaling the amount of accounts to a certain number, personal decision, I suppose, is when you make this change. Rather than copy trading all of them at once, which opens you up to Black Swan, copy trading issues, which could, completely out of your control, by the way, blow all of them at once. So now you have to go to 3, because again, rather than 2 prop firms now, I'm expanding to 3. I'm going to be expanding to 4. Again, I want your opinion on the 4th. Right now, I'm thinking, obviously, Apex Take Profit Trader, top 2. Number 3, most likely Tradeify. And then number 4, I'm thinking Bowlinox, but I want your opinion. At some point, it starts making sense to hedge that risk, because if you blow all your accounts at once, now you have to go to 4 different prop firms, repass all of. You're down for like 3 days, a week almost, right? I don't want to be down for even a day if I can help it. So, at some point, I think it makes sense to hedge by trading them in groups. How many groups? Up to you. How many accounts per group? Up to you. But that's what I've been thinking about, because, you know, there's a strategy here to prop trading. Scaling horizontally is a big part of that strategy. This is also, I think, as you get bigger and bigger in the horizontal scaling process, is maybe the more intelligent way to go about things, at least the smoother way to go about things. Yes, Tony, Tradeify, man, when I saw the changes they've been making lately, I gotta tell you guys, hopefully they're not watching. I gotta tell you, when I saw how cheap they used to be called straight to funded, now they're called like lightning funded at Tradeify are, you can get a 25K account when you use a code for like $170. And I was like, oh man, this is filthy. This is disgusting. And any trader with an edge can just steal money. Obviously, you need to trade for 7 days before you can get a payout, and the payouts on the 25Ks are maxed at $1,000. But man, so I gotta start. It's time to start hitting Tradeify, man. I should have a code for you guys shortly. I'm talking to their people, making sure everything's all set and good enough for me to give you guys. Mark says, you know, NinjaTrader plus Tradeivate accounts have limits on the amount of executions you can do in 1 hour. Now, Mark, is that per Tradeivate account? Or is that in total across all of your accounts? And what is that limit? I highly doubt I'm going to be even scratching that limit. That limit is probably to slow down people who are trying to use algorithms, trading 50 plus times in an hour. I would think. Now, if that limit is like 5, we might have an issue. Okay. Give this about 10 more seconds here. Not there. No trade. All right, minute 35 out. Let's see if we get as far as a close. Okay, now is this showing properly? Yeah, it's close enough. All right, so we're good to go here. I'll just trade 2 groups today, which will be fine. I want to trade them in 3, but it messes up where my P&L is on the screen. It doesn't show it properly. All right, 50 seconds out here. Let's see what we get as far as a close here on this 2-minute bar. Yeah, but Mark, what's the limit, man? We need a number. Maybe it operates in bands. Like it's not set in stone. I don't think we're going to hit that, to be honest. And there you go. There's another reason, Mark, by the way, to trade these in groups if that were to become a problem, you know? So, all right. All right, we will buy that, looking for a scalp. Now I'm going counter trend, but that is by far the strongest bull sequence we've had all day. There you go, it's close enough. You can see what's going on. Now obviously, look at this. Obviously, right? I mean, you can draw that. You can draw this. A lot of things you can draw. But for me, I have to put that on. I'm not looking to, you know, reclaim the entire move here at all. Yes, good volatility. ATR, by the way, is right about 22 right now. So it's good. It's very good here. This time of day on the 2-minute chart, man, we've seen 7. All right, now again, ATR is 22, so keeping that in mind here as far as the ask we're looking to make out of this market, taking it bar by bar, driving manually. Christian, good morning. How we doing? Yeah, Mark, I would imagine, so you said it's probably in the thousands. He's talking about the Tradeovate and NinjaTrader execution limit per hour. I would think, would a trailing stop trigger that? I feel like that might be your issue. But with what I'm doing, man, I don't have to worry about that kind of thing. I would think if you're trading, copy trading like 30, 40 accounts all together and using trailing stops with the actual orders out in your settings in your copy trader rather than the executions mode, I think that's where that might become an issue for you. All right, go ahead and pull that baby at about half, a little over half an ATR. All right, 1,100 bucks in group one of the accounts. So let's move on. Yes, I am trading two groups now. So I've upped the size in some of the accounts and I'm trading two separate groups. So that number in the top left, it's going to be different depending what group I'm changing or I'm trading. Frank, Nico, or anyone, can you explain the email that went out from Take Profit Trader regarding the, so the refunds? Let me just make sure I have this right here. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. So with Take Profit Trader, it's added to their deal. It's 40% off and no activation fee, okay? Now what they've added... Ooh, hold up. Gotta buy that. Gotta buy that little guy there. All right, see if we can get a push up through this little, what could be a double top. We'll see here. What Take Profit Trader has added to that deal, so now it is 40% off, no activation fee, and you get 100% of your first month's subscription on that account refunded to you when you take your first payout on that account, okay? So you take your payout, they give you back what you paid for the first month of that account. So I don't know. I think Take Profit Trader might be losing their fucking mind because these deals are getting too ridiculous. Christian, I'm trading two different groups now. I'd want to be trading three, but for the sake of showing the P&L on screen, my settings, the way that I have the screen recording, it moves it when I try to trade three groups. So today I'm trading two groups, and the reason for that is one, scaling, but number two, security to protect from Black Swan. Because think about it, right? I mean, when you're trading in the 20s, 30s, like 40s of accounts, copy trader glitch or Black Swan, if it blows all your accounts at once, man, that is a massive, massive pain in the ass, and you're going to be down and out for maybe a week trying to just get back to where you were as far as having all the accounts funded, ready to go. So it's both scaling and kind of hedging stuff like that happening. It's watching this, right? Keeping an eye on that. We'll see how this bar closes. 60 seconds out to the close here, this 2-minute bar. Corey, good to have you. Appreciate you, brother. Have you already got that third set of accounts done? Would be awesome to see you smash out some evals. Yeah, I can do a video on some evals. Yeah, they're done. Well, I mean, I don't know. They're never really done. I'm always looking to add. But yeah, I have all 3 sets. But always looking to scale. Next step for me here is Tradeify, and I'm thinking Bullinox. That'll put me at 4 props. Gotta start spreading around the industry. And when you're scaling horizontally, man, I guess the ultimate goal is to hit as many as you can within reason while still, being able to kind of remember the rules and manage everything. All right, ATR now is, I think, just below 20. It's kind of high, and it looks like it's about 19 to me. So again, keeping that in mind here. Michael, this is Ninja Trader. Bull's slowing down a little bit here. Take it bar by bar. 35 seconds out to the close here. This 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get. All right, new 2-minute bar here. Good to have you, Michael. All right, we're 15 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Kind of a wick back on that bear bar there. That'd have been a cut for me if that was cleaner. I was about ready to cut that thing and then we wick back a little bit. Cut that thing there and move on. All right, on to the next trade. Minute 30 out, 90 seconds. You can see here, it looks like on the 5-minute chart here. That's the 20 EMA. That's being seen. Right, so let's keep an eye out on that. Randy, the bottom of the screen, that's ATR and then the range of each individual bar. That's it, just overlaid on top of each other. Stop limit buyout right above the wick close. I'm sorry, the wick high of that previous bar. Let's see if we get a fill. Give us thing about 20 seconds here. If not, we'll pull it. All right, cool. We'll suck this up. Tight, tight, tight. Wrist the curl. This we can offload to the computer. Michael, can you check last regarding data types of other prop? I'm not sure what you mean, man. Does anyone know what Michael means? Are you talking like rhythmic versus Tradeovate? I'm not sure what you mean. Michael, I use rhythmic data from Apex, Denali feed, trying to my live account in, tying my live account in, so I have level 2 data to see magnet block potentials on the tape. I've been considering horizontal, but how many use rhythmic? Okay, so what I do is I use Tradeovate for whatever other prop I can that isn't Apex. For Apex, I use rhythmic. And you can't execute with multiple rhythmic connections at once in Ninja. So what I do is I use rhythmic with Apex only, and then I just use Tradeovate with whatever else, like Take Profit Trader with Tradeify. I'll be using Tradeovate. Risk is tight here. Risk is pretty much 1 ATR. But if they take out that little wick low, this idea is shot in the foot. So that's why we're keeping it tight here on this little scalp. Let's see if the bulls can give us a little pop through that recent curl. Chris, you have to use Rhythmic with Bullinox too, correct? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't dove into Bullinox quite yet. If you do, then I'll probably have to end up trading Apex and Bullinox in separate groups entirely. Which, I guess, isn't that big of a deal. Alright, hold up, I got a million things going on here. 1 second. Alright, you guys see where I'm at, right? I gotta switch it there for a sec. 1 second here. Oh, man. Alright, hold on. We gotta come back here for a sec. Trade comes first, man. I got the chat disconnected. I got the recording getting all messed up. 1 sec here. The trade always comes first, doesn't it? All right, I'll take about half an ATR there. Okay, now we got to figure this out, don't we? All right, are we back? Are we back? Someone write we're back in the chat so I know everything's hooked up properly. First time this has ever happened to me. Alert, why do you say restart Ninja? Nothing happened with my Ninja Trader. I don't think. Unless you see something I don't. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. Yeah, no, the connection issue, that wasn't Ninja, that was for the chat. That connection that popped up on screen. That was everything. I don't know what happened. But we're back, baby. All right, we're good to go. No, I know, I was still live. What happened was my chat disconnected and my stream stopped recording, but it kept streaming, so. But the trade comes first, but we're back now. All right, minute 15 out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. .45 seconds out. We also have a minute 40 out from the close of the 5-minute bar. See these shrinking bull bars? You gotta chill out with that kind of thing. All right, we got 50 seconds left here on the 5-minute bar, I suppose. Let's go ahead and switch over to a 5-minute bar. 5-minute chart, that is. And see if we get some kind of close that we'd be able to work with here. I would need to see probably a close at least up toward 23.6 in the next 30 seconds, which is kind of hopeful, but we gotta keep an eye out. In which case I would get long. Zachary, in your experience, what do you recommend for position sizing / risk? Back to a 2-minute chart, by the way. On fresh 50K Apex funded accounts, do you try to start small and build a buffer? Zachary, I can't answer that. I don't know your strategy. I don't know how you trade. I hate the word strategy, by the way, because that implies it's some follow the recipe thing, which we all know it's not. Everyone says, what's your strategy, bro? Good God. It's not that simple, guys. You should know this by now. But, you know, Zachary, trade micros, man. Start small. Trade 2 or 3 micros. Trade, you know, probably three micros to start. But I don't know the answer. If you take 1 trade a day and you're a swing trader, how much room do you give it? Are you consistently giving trades 85 points of room, or are you keeping it really, really tight, like 15, 20 points of room on swing trades, and you're just looking for big targets with a lower win rate? I don't know how you trade. This is why the one-on-one thing is so helpful for people. You can ask a question on stream. I can't answer it without knowing. It's like someone saying, hey man, how much should I eat to put on muscle? Good God. How old are you? How much do you weigh? How tall are you? How hard do you train? Are you fat? Are you too skinny? I was a skinny motherfucker, by the way. I was so skinny in high school. I don't mean those terms derogatory, man. I was right there with you. Yeah, of course, you gotta have some kind of strategy, but the word strategy implies a recipe that you can follow. It requires, especially trading futures, it requires you have an approach, like price action, but you have to apply it to the context of the market, otherwise it's meaningless. Right? All right, 50 seconds out here. We're back on a 2-minute chart, by the way. No, Tommy, I don't mean that in a good way, man. I was too skinny. And I hated it. All right, minute 35 out from the close of this 2-minute bar, man. Let's see what we get. Omega. No, you're right, man. I exist to entertain you. Let me put on some risk that isn't deserved. Oh, fuck, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Scott, starting out. Keep losing days small. It sucks to crawl out of a big red day that takes 2 to 3 days. Yes, 100%. 100%, man. But it builds character. Having those red days early on builds character. Yeah, Zachary, start with 2 or 3 micros, man. Trade the new 50K funded you have, and just make sure you're making progress. And then if it's time to scale, you're like, okay, I can scale this and still take on reasonable losing streaks within your comfort zone, right? If you're like, if I lose 3 in a row and I blow the account, I'm comfortable with that. Other people will be like, I want to be able to lose 9 trades in a row and not blow the account. They'll trade smaller. But it might take longer for them to get to payouts on average. But their expenses will stay lower. All right, that's barely an outside close on that bull bar, and this to me looks a hell of a lot more like a trading range. More like a wedge, right? So got to give it one more bar here. By the way, on the 5 minute, we're kind of hovering right around that 20 EMA on the 5. So, with this little wedge, trying to clear that 20 EMA on the 5, which, by the way, I agree with you, is rather meaningless except for the self-fulfilling prophecy aspect that it offers. If we could get a nice clean bear bar here on the 2 minute chart, closing kind of near the low of this channel, I would want to get long on that. It's just, this is such a soft bull channel. Such a soft bull wedge or channel, however you want to draw it, that I really have a hard time justifying buying bull bars closing near their highs, because the probabilities are it's probably going to pull back before it goes higher. Because it's in the channel, right? It's soft. So that's my thought process right now. Of a shrinking bull bar anyway there. Next bar, minute 55 out. What's up, Lost? Good to have you back, brother. All right, we have 40 seconds out until the closure of this 2 minute bar. Let's see what we get. What's up, Jason? How we doing? This is a good question. Do you have a fixed reward to risk? No, I do not. I do not. I risk what the setup requires of me. My risk is also, I suppose, influenced by what the ATR currently is. This is why when people say, hey, you know, what's your win rate? It's not really a fair answer that I would give you, because someone could just say, hey, you know, what's your win rate in a range market that is low volatility? Or even high volatility, I suppose. They could just say, what's your win rate in a range market? Or they'll say, what's your win rate? And you give them your range market win rate, which, by the way, is not really one number, because it depends on the context of the market. Whereas a trend market win rate, you're usually going for a slightly better, no longer really negative on average reward to risk, at least me. So then the win rate falls a little bit. So no one's going to tell you that number because it's lower. So it's kind of it's a weird question that can't really be answered. It's an equation, right? It's, hey, what's your average win rate on this particular setup in this particular market environment, right? And then what's the reward to risk? on average, which when every trade is slightly, it requires being structured slightly different. It's kind of a, the answer can just be like whatever you want it to be, because you can just pick the best numbers or the worst numbers, and that just influences, I don't know, I guess how you're viewed. So no, to answer your question, no, it's not fixed. And I think you guys know that by now, right? However, you guys have also seen, what was it, maybe 3 months ago now? I'm bad with time. Maybe 3 months ago, the market was very different, and we were trading fixed RR because we were trading the 40 and 40. Kind of an arbitrary bracket, right? 40-point stops, 40-point take profits, and the win rate was stupid. It was like 70%. We're making lots of money in that market environment. But obviously, you know, those kind of volatile environments, this was during like tariff talk time, like early tariff talk time. They're kind of short-lived, right? And then things change. You get into a range market, you have to lean a little bit more into negative, or at least I do. I prefer to lean slightly more into negative reward to risk, right? Jerry, up 1,200 bucks. Thanks, man. Good to have you, Jerry. Good work. All right, minute 35 out. Zabi, I have a problem, man. I passed my 2 evals yesterday for Apex, blown them today. I spent over 580 bucks in 2 weeks on Apex. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't have the money to be spending. Listen, harsh reality here is you got to work. I'm sure you have a job or you're doing something, right? But you have to have earned income to bootstrap your trading, man. There's expenses. Prop trading has expenses. Personal trading, of course, also has expenses. It's called losses. But prop trading, you're not exposed to the actual losses of the trading, but you have to pay for the accounts. That's part of the game. So, you know, I've said if you're trying to bootstrap it, you need to have some form of earned income. And then I do think that maybe you should try starting with a single, maybe 25K Apex eval, trade 1 micro, make sure you have edge. Then when it's time to bootstrap it, go to Take Profit Trader, get daily payouts. You get into a pro account, then once you get over the buffer, you can take payouts every day that you make money. That gets money coming into the bank account. Eventually, maybe you can cover your living expenses and your trading expenses, and that's when you're full-time. Yeah, Zabi, I think you copy and pasted your question in the wrong chat, big guy. Everyone on YouTube says, without a 3-to-1 or 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio, I am not profitable. Is this really true? Of course it's not true. Of course it's not true. They're fucking lost. They're telling you that because it sounds amazing. Who doesn't want to risk 100 to make 300? Oh my God, that's wonderful. They think you're stupid. Use your head. Turn your brain on. No, it's not. Of course not. Algorithms make a shitload of money with negative reward to risk. Many of them trade primarily negative reward to risk, especially in range markets. The state lottery, wherever state you live in, I don't care, makes a ton of money. They are massively negative reward to risk, super, super high probability, correct? The numbers don't work one way, but 3-to-1 sells the best. I want to risk $100 to make 300. Of course you do. Guess what happens? Your win rate falls because the market is efficiently priced. Your win rate is going to be well under usually 50% if you're going for a 3-to-1 reward to risk. That doesn't mean you don't have edge. You can still have an edge. But if you get a really high win rate with that good of reward to risk, guess what? You hit a gold mine. Guess what the problem is? That trade comes around twice a year. That's not a big enough sample size to make a living off of consistently. Okay, there's the other problem. If you're like, no, I did find one. Okay, good luck on getting the sample size up. That trade's not going to come around very often. And if it does, it's not going to last very long because institutions are going to find it and screw it up for you. Come on, man. You guys are smart. Turn your brains on. Think about the math, man. I'm just kidding you. But really, think about it. No, of course that doesn't make sense. Doesn't mean you can't make money with 3-to-1, by the way. Of course you can. There's just a million different ways to make money. You can make money with a 20-to-1 reward to risk. You can make money with a 1-to-20 reward to risk. Now, obviously in prop trading, there's rules. Apex doesn't let you go below 1-to-5 reward to risk. But the math still remains the same. And you got to think about something, right? You know, if you're someone who doesn't, everyone in the chat right now is going to be like, yeah, that's me. Because we all hate losing. We're here, we're traders, we hate losing. But if you're someone that like really gets emotional about losing and you're very bad at losing often. And then you watch a video and someone's like, the only way to make money trading is to have a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Anyone else who tells you otherwise doesn't know what they're doing. It's like, okay, now you go trade a 3-to-1 reward to risk, you win. If you're doing amazing, you win 40% of the time. Great. But guess what? 60% of the time, or 65% of the time, or 70% of the time, if you're not doing so hot, you're losing. Guess how many losses you're gonna have in a row? Often. A lot. You're gonna lose a lot in a row. And then you're going to say, I'm not good at this. I'm on a big losing streak. I've lost 12 trades in a row. Yeah, because you didn't look at the statistical probability of having that losing streak up front. Man, especially in a range market where the market really isn't expected to go very far, at least quickly, I like to win. Now, I'm not going to go super negative reward to risk because the props might have issues with that. Okay, but I might lean a little bit into negative reward to risk just to get the win rate up a little bit, right? I don't want to lose, 20 in a row if I can help it. If you're shooting for 5-to-1 reward to risk, you are going to lose 10, 15, 20 trades in a row, and it's going to suck really bad, and you're not going to know what's happening. You're just going to think you suck. No, you don't just suck. The probability is low of success. You're making a really big ask, and you're not willing to risk very much. No, Chakra, it depends on the ATR, man. I'm usually looking to gain maybe a half to a whole ATR on any given scalp, which is the average range of a in this case, 2-minute bar. That doesn't make them wrong. If they want to trade 10-to-1 reward to risk, maybe they have an edge. Maybe they do. That doesn't mean they don't make money, okay? It's just one of many ways to make the math work. And to say that it's the only way the math works is misleading and flat out wrong. It's concerning to me when I hear people say that. Even in the chat, people come in and say, oh man, I trade a 3-to-1 reward to risk. It's like, yeah, that's great. Do you have an edge? This is not a game of reward to risk. This is a game of statistical edge. And when people say the only way to make money is a 5-to-1 reward to risk, they fundamentally don't understand the exact reason why trading pays you, which is statistics. They don't get it, which means they don't understand the business model that we're running, which is concerning as fuck, right? All right, well, volatility, man, is slowly falling, actually quickly falling. ATR is currently at about 12. It's the average points. Sorry, the average range in points of a 2-minute bar based on the last 10 2-minute bars. It's pretty low. It was about 22 an hour ago, maybe less than that. So, I mean, you know, still the same look. Clearly, it's a kind of a collapsing wedge here. Eventually, of course, these break out. Which direction is essentially 50-50, though we do have the 20 EMA shortly below, not far below, I should say, right about 88, 588 is the 20 EMA on the 5-minute chart. Happens to also line up with the 2-minute chart, by the way. All right, we are 50 seconds out here from the close on this 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get. All right, I'll put on a limit sell. Right above that previous bar's wick high. See if we can get a fill here in the first 30 seconds or so. I gotta pull that no fill. All right, ATR still around 12 here. It's getting tight. What is your bias? Range. Range. Vin, Nico, do you have any other prop deals that aren't take profit trader? They're restricted in my country. Yeah, man, hit Apex. Hit Apex, same code big. All right, 60 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Chris B, $2,600 in 11 days. This is starting to get really exciting. Took me 3 years to dig a $20,000 hole. At this rate, I'll be green by Christmas. Good work, Chris. Love to see it. Love to see it, brother. All right, coffee time back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. right, we are back. Back to the 2-minute chart here. Come on, Bears. Grow backbone. I'd like to see a nice, moderate bear bar closing near the low, which I'd bet against by getting long. Marshall, good morning. How we doing? Draw, Nico, how long do you wait for the market to finish opening before you start trading usually? I let, those of you guys who've been around for a while know this, I let institutional orders clear for usually at least 10 or 15 minutes before I feel comfortable breaking the ice on the day. So not that long. Let's see what we get here as far as a bear close. Nice, strong. Yeah. All right, I'll get long there. It's a good trade for me. Put that guy on. Trading group 1 here. There you go, top left position window. Just betting against a breakout of this little... tiny little wedge that's been forming. If we get the breakout, I am driving manually and will can manage early if we get a nice strong close out of the bears. Otherwise, my protective stop is where I want it. ATR, by the way, is still about 12. $60 seconds out. All right, let's see here if the bears close this strong. If the bears get a nice strong close, there's a lot of factors here. It would need to be, I'd say, at least 85 or below for me to close that early, because that then clears as well the 20 on the 5. This is a 2-minute chart, right? For early management. If they can't get that, then I need one more bar. At least. 8 seconds. See what they do. Bulls are going to hold that wick back upside, it seems. Next bar. How you guys doing today, man? I know it seems kind of quiet. Did a lot of you guys get kind of killed this morning? I was looking around this morning. It seemed like people were hurting with this big bear trend. I get it. I mean, you're used to the range, right? This is what we always talk about. If you're used to the range and you start kind of blindly buying breakout attempts without a lot of risk management plan, you can get killed. You can get killed. And when that trend market comes, it'll blow you out. But I'm thinking a lot of people might have gotten hurt this morning, which I do not like to see. but it's a learning experience. You'll come back from this too. Mark's done well today. Good to hear. Caden, trade copier issues took 20 points from you. Yeah, I mean, listen, another reason why as you get more and more accounts, to me, at least for my trading, it makes sense, you know, to start trading them in groups, which is kind of what I'm starting to do. You know, once I start implementing Tradeify more, Bullinox, I'm not sure yet about Bullinox. I've heard good things though. You start bumping up the amount of accounts, right? And then if you have a copy trader problem, it messes up all your accounts, which is a pain, dude. So I think groups make sense. You can still make plenty of money per trade. Kelly says, Bullinox is legit. I've had many payouts from them. Good to hear. Yeah, Bullinox, I kind of like their vibe, man. They don't seem to advertise too much. Not too much, but they don't seem to advertise much, which advertising in and of itself is not a bad thing. I'm just saying, I think that's why more people aren't using them. Advertising is obviously a great thing. But they're kind of quiet. I don't know, I kind of dig their vibe. The name's cool. And I've heard good things. It seems to me like an Apex with less rules is kind of what it seems to me. Can someone just make my life real easy and drop in the chat? Like, what are the Bullinox? Is it single day to pass? Do you have to trade for 5 days? How do you pass the evals over at Bullinox? Can you pass in 1 day? If so, what's the activation fee? I'd appreciate someone just dropping the information here for me so I don't have to spend the afternoon figuring it out. Then maybe I'll start hitting them up this week. Or I guess maybe early next week. We'll see. Oh, Mike, way ahead of your brother. Take Profit Trader is my #1 pick. It's on screen, man. Love Take Profit. Great company. All right, sitting right around break even here so far on this trade. It's all right, no management information yet. With these grinds higher, you know, you kind of got to keep an eye out because this kind of thing can start happening. And, you know, it can be tough because a lot of times you just get a little pullback and then it shoots higher. Not shoots, it's a range market. It kind of grinds back higher. So it can take some time to understand that this kind of thing is finally forming. But obviously, you know, this was thought of ahead of time. Mike, Bullinox, $145 activation fee, no special rules for passing. So you can pass in 1 day though, Mike, at Bullinox? Because if so, that's pretty much like Apex. Apex is $140. Well, it depends on the deal they're running, but it's usually about $140 to activate like a 50K. All right, volatility's slow in here, man. ATR is about 11. It's all right, still within reason. Yeah, it's 45 micros. Tron says Bullinox does not allow copy trading outside of their own accounts. Okay, I mean, I guess my question is how the hell would they know? How would they know that? And is that true? All right, there's a rollover. It's still an inside close with this wick. Need a little more information here. Finger on the trigger, though. About a minute 30 left here on this 2-minute bar. And we'll keep an eye out. We'll see if this kind of thing starts really cementing itself. I don't like the look of that too much, but still got 90 seconds left. Well, minute 15 left on this 2-minute bar. All right, that'll stop us there. Okay, we got 3 minutes left. And we're flat. 3 minutes left here on this 5-minute bar. Got 60 seconds left on this 2-minute bar. Might have to make another decision here right away. Goodness. Okay, let's keep an eye out here. All right, I gotta get a stop limit sell ready. Smack that down. I'll give that about 30 seconds here to see if it can give us a fill. I only want to get filled on this setup if we can get confirmation, of course, that we're going to break that wick low on that bar. I only want to get filled if that occurs in the first 30 seconds of this 2-minute bar, which is 15 seconds from now. No fill, gotta pull it. Gotta pull it. Next bar, minute 25 out. John, daily bias is bearish, so buy is low probability here. I don't know. That order that I had out that you saw, that was not a limit buy. That was a stop limit sell. It's a stop entry. All right, 20 seconds out here. As you guys know, this kind of bar starts to get my attention a little bit. We'll get a stop limit buy ready. See if we get a strong close here. Ooh. Oh, beauty, 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 beauty. It's a good trade for me. Let's see if we can get a little push. Or if the bears just suck this back and take that out. And most of these are going to turn into ranges, right? Big trends are not... In a range market like this, it's not common to just see big giant trends out of nowhere. Risk on this trade, by the way, pretty damn tight, less than 20 points. But if it takes out this wick low, man... Yeah, that's good. Takes out that wick low, man, then I want to be out. Does Bullinox let you use Tradeovate? It's a big question that I have. If it's all rhythmic over at Bullinox, then it starts to get kind of weird, because then I got to group it out by company. I got a yes and a no. All right, let's see if the bears take out this wick low. If so, I'm offloading that risk to the computer. Only rhythmic. That could be an issue. All right, we got 25 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. Yeah, took out that wick. High probability it's going to trigger that. Let's see here. Make sure the copy trader handles that properly. Okay, we're good. We're flat. All right, next trade. So we look at the 5-minute. Here, the 5-minute tells us a story. Right, and then you have this kind of thing. So this flat bottom becomes an area of interest for me. You can tell that, you know, the bulls are hesitating to give that up. Bears are kind of hesitating to give it a hard test through. So, I mean, yeah, you know, we have an intraday trend here, of course, that has now softened up quite a bit. But remember, I mean, on the daily, we're still in a range, so I'd imagine we're probably going to get a lot of this. Right? Pumpkin, hey, all feeling kind of low right now. Just blew my first take profit trader account. Yeah, first of many. Part of trading prop, man, is blowing accounts. It's just an expense. The goal is to have an average positive ROI, or I guess a positive ROI on your average account. You're not going to hold on to a prop account for 15 years. It's just, if you're doing that, you're probably not taking payouts consistently enough, or I should say often enough, to pay your bills or more, right? Which is really the goal here. Make more, then you just need to pay your bills. First of many is the way that I'd look at that, man. Don't get low on that. It's an expense. It's part of the game. Now, if you did it by breaking rules, then feel that and move on. But learn your lesson and try not to make the same mistake. Now, if the mistake in your head was, well, I followed my plan and it happened to be a loser, then that's not a mistake. All right, 60 seconds out here from the rollover here, this 2-minute bar. Pumpkin, it was an eval, brother. Come on now. Come on now, man. That's a Tuesday. Don't worry about it. Man, if you're making tons of money from prop, you're gonna blow hundreds of evals. Thousands of Isn't that kind of the goal? To be able to afford to blow thousands and still make a shitload of money? That's the goal. Obviously, you know, you need to have that positive ROI per account. Not saying it's a good thing, but you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. Yes, the new deal at Take Profit Trader is very sweet. Use code BIG, 40% off, no activation fee, and when you take your first payout on a pro account, they refund you the first month that you paid for that account. I gotta tell you, I think they're losing their mind, man. I think they're losing it. Not there, no trade, inside close. Next bar, 2 minutes out. All right, 36 seconds. Ooh, it's like a doji close here. That absolutely nothing on that 2 minute bar. Next bar, 2 minutes out. All right, very interested. We have this low here, which is also, by the way, a flat bottom further to the left. What about there? You see that far left? 25 seconds out. Let's see how this bar closes. How that closes will be very meaningful to my decision here. Ooh. Short there. Gonna risk that curl and pull that guy down for that. There you go. See if we can get some continuation there. Pull that guy nice and quick. All right, next trade. Good little winner, but that's a trading range, right? You know it's a trading range until it proves itself to be a trend. We'll see if the bears can kind of fall out the bottom or kick out the bottom here. 5-minute chart tells us that story. If they can kind of take this off a cliff and take out that intraday low, that changes things a lot. But right now, I just, we can't necessarily buy that right away without more proof that this descending bear wedge isn't a thing. And yes, Leon, 50% retracement. Good catch. Also on my mind. All right, so we gotta keep an eye on this, right? So I'm gonna give it one more bar here, and we have 60 seconds, 55 seconds till the close of the 5-minute bar. Okay, so that was a 2-minute chart you were just looking at. This is the 5-minute. But again, right now, I mean, see, look at this. In a trend, in a big bear trend, which this was a bear trend till about 10:15 Central this morning. I would have sold that rollover. When we have this kind of thing going on, I can't sell that rollover. It's just, you end up with this. The bulls step in and say, whoa, 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 trading range. I don't think this is going to go all that far, and they start buying. For me, on an aggressive move downside like that, it's a little too risky to just blindly buy that close, but it's not really convincing enough out of the bears yet for me to sell that rollover either, so I have to do nothing. So 60 seconds out here. There's the close of the 5-minute bar. It's a pretty damn clean close of that 5-minute bar. But it's still within that little range. We didn't break out of that range, at least not convincingly, really at all. We got a minute 25 left here on this 2-minute bar. Let's see how this closes. Again, I mean, I'm looking at that trading range. $60 seconds. Jason, what's up, brother? How we doing? All right, 38 seconds out here. Ten seconds, big wick back out of the bears. Man. What I really would like to do is get a nice strong bull bar closing about here and short it. Look for a fade back into the range. That's a big old wick back. We have 15 seconds here. Really want to see the Bulls put something together, man. 10 seconds. Right now, we're kind of right dead smack in the middle of that trading range. But you guys know, I let the algos take that, take the middle there. There we go. Minute 30 out. 15 seconds. Not a lot going on here. Bulls are trying, getting smacked down each time. Comes the rollover of the 2-minute bar. Still have 3 minutes left on the 5-minute bar. All right, minute 40 out. Let's see how this bar closes here. Yeah, Gaines, I'd agree. I mean, ATR is not half bad. It's sitting at about 12, well, 13 actually. Which is not half bad this time of day. It's just kind of wicky the last, 6 minutes or so. All right, here comes the rollover of this 2-minute bar. Looks like it's going to be an inside close here. Inside close there on the 2-minute. Really not too definitive there out of the bears. You can tell, I mean, they're feeling a little insecure to take it lower. Bulls are propping it up. That flat bottom is not going to last long, I imagine. If the bears can finally break it below that little wick low. Likely met with pretty quick buying pressure, at least a little. Drop it right back up. All right, guys, I'll tell you what. It's time for me to hit lunch. Then I'll come back and trade on my own in the afternoon, see what we can put together. But right now is about as good time as any to step away for 20 minutes, eat, come back, see if this thing can break up, clean up. We can get back to work, man. All right, guys. Hey. Take Profit's deal, I think they're losing their minds, I'm telling you. It's 40% off, you don't pay an activation fee, and you get refunded your first month test fee when you take your first payout of that pro account. Make sure you use code BIG. That's the best deal always, also at Apex. And I'll tell you what, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for Pharaoh Friday. Let's finish out the week strong. All right, guys, be patient. Let it come to you. And when it does, fucking hit it hard. All right, guys, see you tomorrow morning. Subscribe. See you soon.